Good evening, hobby friends. We're going and we're rolling. We are currently testing our new microphones. I have microphones now. This is the first time I've used them. And either I'm talking to the air right now or this is going to sound way better. And since I wanted to experiment with the microphones, I thought it was a good opportunity to make a fun hobby update video. And so let's hobby update and let's see how it sounds when we're all done with it. And if this all works out, we will have better audio in the future. And if it doesn't work out, then, well, you're just never going to see this video. So, what I'm working on right now, I was all into projects forever because I was playing with my friend the Farseer, and he has a lot of Eldar, and we could always play bigger games. He's also always up for bigger games. He's a competitive guy. He likes variety, and so I was always working on building bigger armies. But he's away for a little while, and we miss him. I can't wait to have him back. But the Refuser has stepped up, and we're playing much smaller games currently. And we're playing very casual games currently because she hasn't played really very much 10th edition at all. Didn't play much 40k in the past. And although she's game and she's a gamer, we're taking it easy on her to start. And so what ended up happening is that it really kind of freed me up for whatever. And although they tell me that variety is the spice of life, variety just tends to confuse me and makes it hard to make decisions. So I laid out a table. I'm in my bedroom now. I put a table down and I put some stuff on the table and let's talk about it. The first thing on the table, I have 8 of these. And these come from the Star Wars Legion range. And I decided to paint them white because, Star Wars. And they're on the paint table right now. I also have this Super Boss dumpster that I'm happy about. And it's almost done. I have a little red container. I'm calling this a compost bin. And then I have this great big blue container. And those are fun little terrain projects that are, little palette cleanser is what I'm calling it. Something to, do something easy for me, get it done quick, and that's what's happening now. But now let's talk about what we're actually doing here. Represented in front of you is every army we have in the house. Nothing from the Farseer is represented. That's Eldar, Dark Eldar, Custodes. He's away for a while. He'll be back. But this is what's going on between the Refuser and I. And this is what I call my pile of possibility. And don't get me wrong, this is just a representation of my pile of possibility. My pile of possibility is enormous. I've been in the hobby since 2010. And in that time, like there was a period of time when I was married and it was not ideal. And I had the money to buy models, but I didn't have the time to work on them. So I accumulated a very big pile to work off of. Then the dude who got me into the project, most of the orcs I work on are his orcs, and he had a couple thousand, like 4,000 points of orcs, and I'm technically borrowing them, but it's been like almost 10 years since I've been borrowing them, and I've painted a lot of those, and they're kind of mine now, but he may show up and ask for them back someday, and we'll see what happens there. But that's where I got a big pile from. And then when we got on YouTube, YouTube's been very good to me, and I've gotten the gift of plastic quite often. And so I have quite a bit to work on. But here I am, free hands. What am I going into? So let's talk first. Let's get the Refuser out of the way. The Refuser is, oh wow, you know what? I got something else to bring out here. Almost forgot about that one. So the Refuser is my woman, and we've been together for a while now. But when we first got together, and she saw what I was doing with the hobby, the first thing she looked at were the Harlequins. And the Harlequins are super cool, but being a very new hobbyist, somebody who hasn't done much hobbying, once she got her hands on them, she realized they're kind of a daunting task. In the house now, we have a Shadow Seer, a Death Jester, and a Troop. That's it. I am not going to touch those. Is she going to touch those? Maybe. Is she going to touch those anytime soon? I don't know. And so the possibility of us working on the Harlequins, I think, is slim. Pulling that off the pile. Next, we're going to look at the Nurgle Demons. Now, Nurgle Demons is where the Refuser has actually fallen. And she's done a good job. And as of right now, she has 2 units of Plague Bearers, 2 Great Unclean Ones, 1 Demon Prince, 2 Beasts of Nurgle, 3 of the Heralds of Nurgle. And Nurgle is pretty Nurgle in my life. Now, when are we getting more of these? I don't know. That's all up to her, but Nurgle is coming. The Refuser's also got quite a bit of Death Guard going. She's Lord of Contagion, 20 Poxwalkers. There's 8 Plague Marines now, but there's 7 more coming. 3 Death Shrouds, 5 Blight Lords, a Plague Burst Crawler. So Nurgle's covered in the house. And none of these are my projects, but I bring them up because they are active projects, and Nurgle is happening as we speak. However, I do not fall to Nurgle. I don't fall to Nurgle at all. I don't get fallen to Nurgle. I don't. I'm just not going to care about anything and spread poop on myself. I don't get it. I don't understand the Nurgle followers. But I do get fallen to Slaanesh. Falling to Slaanesh just makes sense to me. I will eat all the food. I will smoke all the smoke. I will drink all of the drink. I will love all of the women. The colors need to be brighter. The sounds need to be louder. The food must be spicier. I get Slaanesh. And Slaanesh has been calling to me for a long time. Now, Slaanesh is represented 2 places in the house. I have my Slaanesh Chaos Warband, and I have Slaanesh Demons. They are the least, some of the least for the far along projects in the house. Slaanesh Demons in the house, we have 10 Demonettes, 5 Seekers, a Hellflare, and the Keeper of Secrets here. And that's it. That's what we got. I am letting Slaanesh Demons go. And it's hard for me to do because the Keeper of Secrets is calling my name. Look at how beautiful that model is. That might be one of the best models Games Workshop ever produced. It's gorgeous. But I'm willing to let it go because the Refuser is getting so much work done so fast. And her work gets better and better and better all the time. That I asked her if she wanted to paint my Slaanesh Demons. She said, she actually freaked out. I pulled this box out. She said, "Oh my God, I get to paint him?" And she really freaked out. So I'm passing Slaanesh Demons over to the Refuser. That's on her pile now. And at the speed she goes at, seriously, it's ridiculous. I build her models for her and I base her models for her, and I literally can't keep up. I cannot keep up with her output. And I don't know how anybody works that fast. I really don't. But again, I'm taking the Slaanesh Demons out of the pile that I'm talking about because I'm passing that over to the Refuser. However, since we're here, we're going to talk about it. Here's my Noise Marine. I've had an idea in my head for my Chaos Warband forever, and it's pretty cultist heavy. And for the longest time, cultists were like, you were restricted. You had to take a Space Marine unit for every cultist unit you brought, and I hated that because the point was I didn't want a lot of Space Marines on the list. And so anyway, I put it to the side forever. But in the current edition, you can bring as many cultists as you want. You can have a whole cultist list. And so I'm really inspired again. This project is not far along at all. And it's kind of silly for me to want to start this one compared to everything else I have going on. But my heart is with it. My heart is with this. There's one more that is calling to my heart, but Slaanesh Chaos Warband could be on the way. And then I would, of course, ally it with the demons. And we could have Death Guard and Nurgle Demons versus Slaanesh, like Emperor's Children versus Chaos, Slaanesh Demons. Yeah, anyway, possibilities. Always possibilities. So I pulled these sprues out too because I should speak about them. Of every army in the house, this is the one that is the least far along. And it is my AdMech. And what my AdMech is I have this set, which could be either Rangers or Vanguard. It's not built yet. I have a 10-man unit of Rangers built, and I have two HQs. One of my HQs is one of the old Skulls, SKULLZ. They were like a company that Games Workshop like let do their models for a minute, and they had some awesome tech priests. I have one of those guys. Anyway, I haven't done any work on the AdMech. I think AdMech are really cool. They're some of my favorite models. I think that the Secretari Rangers are beautiful, and I would love to field a bunch of them. But anyway, I haven't started the AdMech yet. I don't see myself starting the AdMech anytime soon. So now we get into the meat of what I have going on. We get into the real part of my hobby life. We'll talk about the Primaris Marines first. I have about 2,300 points of Primaris Space Marines, almost all infantry. It's the Leviathan box plus an Ultramarines box. There's a lot going on there. There's Calgar, there's Tiberius, 15 Intercessors, 15 Howlblasters, the whole Leviathan box again. And so I'm into it because when I look at the Primaris models, they look like they're really easy to paint. And but they're so big, they might as well be action figures. It's crazy. Um, but again, I haven't started this project yet. They're all built, but I haven't put a stitch of paint on them yet. And so, like getting out my first 500, I don't know. And then also, it's not that this project isn't cool. It's just that I have so many other projects to work on, and then I have a different Space Marine chapter that I'm a little bit more loyal to, and that's the Star Hunters. The Star Hunters are my dudes. And as of today, I have about half of my Star Hunters done, and I still have half of my Star Hunters in my pile of shame. And if I'm cool about it, I could get all of my Star Hunter pile of shame done before 11th edition. And my motivation for that is, as of right now, I still have data sheets for everything in my army. They're not all great, but I have them. I can still put down an Ironclad and a Venerable, and I can still put down my Assault Marines and Vanguard Veterans without jump packs. I have some of those too. And I would like to get everything done so I could just once put my entire Firstborn army on the table, the entire thing, all 5,500 points of it, just once, and play it in a regular game of Warhammer before it can't be played anymore. And we know that's coming. We know eventually, like by 12th edition, are they going to be updating their 9th and 10th edition Legend rules? I doubt it. But I love the Star Hunters. I love them. I've put so much work into them. I've played so many games with them. I love them. But the reason to not go hog on the Star Hunters is I actively have 2,500 points of them. I could play a legal tournament game with the Star Hunters, and not have to dip into Legends. I have that many Star Hunters, and so as much as I want to see them done, again, there's other projects on my mind. Orcs. I got a lot of orcs. I have a Stompa now. I was gifted a Stompa for Christmas. And you've no idea how much I want to drop everything and build a Stompa. Just because it's cool. God, it's so cool. And that's where orcs win. Orcs are cool. Now, my orcs are evil sons. But I've also had an idea that maybe I should break my orcs up into two different war bands and maybe roll Evil Sons and Goths or Evil Sons and Blood Axes. But of course, why am I going to do that when I still don't have 2,000 points of painted Evil Sons? But I have orcs for days. My original plan for this army was just tons of Deathcopters, because I have 12 Deathcopters, 12 of the old Deathcopters. And then, yeah, man, I got 3 battle wagons, 2 trucks, boys for days, nobles. I got the plane kit, and that kit's calling my name too, because that looks like a fun kit to build and paint. But which one do you go with? Is it the Dekajek? Is it the Bonobama? And everything is fun to say with orcs. One thing I will say for orcs, though, as I look at it, I don't want to put my vehicles on bases. I don't like that look. I don't think vehicles should be on bases. I don't know when somebody decided that. But anyway, I have about 1,000 points of orcs done. I could, if I had everything in the house done, it'd be about 5,000 points. The appeal of doing the orcs is, first of all, everybody likes orcs. Secondly, orcs are fun, fun, fun on the tabletop. Um, it might be time to get down with some orcs. Downside to orcs, orcs are hard to paint, and it amazes me how much harder to paint they are than other factions. But there's so many little gubbins and doohickeys and squigs and teeth and bullets and just little bits. And I'm kind of an OCD painter. I have to kind of hit everything, and orcs just take forever. And it keeps me from going hard on my orcs because, oh wow, I gotta get that project done. But also, my orcs currently need some work because my commandos rolled in squads of 5, and now you can't. You got to bring squads of 10. So I took the leftover orcs from my other squads that used to roll in squads of 12 and now have to be squads of 10, and I threw them into the commando squads. But now it doesn't look right because all my commandos had purple pants, except for now they don't. And so sitting down and doing 5 more commandos with purple pants and getting them to look hot again. And then also, my battle wagon's not actually done. It still needs some highlights. I'd like to glue it all down and get some varnish on it. And so the orcs as they exist also are not actually at the 1,000 points I claim they are. And then I have 3 Death Copters rolling on the list right now. I have another one already done, and it's waiting for 2 more I have that are almost done. And then that could join the list. But there's a lot going on with the orcs. There's just, and I only got 2 hands, man. Just the 2 hands. Now, in theory, I should talk about Tau next, but we're going to go with the Inquisition next. My Inquisition is roughly 1,000 points, but it's not a good 1,000 points. And what it is it's Sir Helmet the Unsung, my Knight Errant, who that's a good part of the 1,000 points. He's dope. It's Inquisitor Greyfax. It's the full Assassinorium. And that's the list. And what they need is this box of agents to go along with Greyfax, but then I need to start building guard to flush it out because you can't just, if you just field agents of the Imperium, you won't have any anti-armor at all. And anyway, but also what I have in the house is I have a bunch of old guard models, old metal sculpts that I love, and there's some jungle fighters here too. And they belonged to the Farseer for a guy, but before that they belonged to another guy. And that dude could have been our hobby friend and played games with us every week and been on the YouTube channel, but instead he decided to be a sad sack drunk who's angry at women because they don't like him, but they would totally like him if he would just stop being so angry at women. But anyway, his models passed through the Farseer, and then the Farseer was disappointed enough in him that he passed them down to me. So now I got all these metal guard models that I'm going to paint in my Inquisition color scheme and try to bring out that next 1,000 points. I like that because there's already a good solid base for the Inquisition. I also like it because you never see the Inquisition anywhere, you know? And Inquisition is cool, and they should be scary, you know? And I have Greyfax, and I love her. I'm happy with her paint job. I would use the same paint scheme that I did on Greyfax for the rest of the Inquisition. And then what I have in the closet is roughly, I don't know, 30 or 40 guardsmen, a Russ, and a Basilisk. And that's a start. So although the Inquisition is not at the front of the love wagon, I could see myself putting hands on them really soon. Particularly, have you seen this kit? We got to buy it twice. I got to get another one of these because each model in it has 2 builds. But it's dope. Oh my god, it's so dope. This guy here, the Mystic Agent, he's dope. And just all their clothes. I mean, I don't know about this guy. He doesn't. I mean, he's cool and scary and badass, but you don't want to hang out with that guy. And this guy doesn't look like he's having a good time at all. But if you're in the 41st millennium, man, this guy's making it look good. And you also don't want to end up a servitor either. But anyway, the Inquisition, I could really see myself putting hands on really soon. So my first love was the Tau. And it's really easy for me to attack the Tau. Because when I started the Tau, again, I was married and things weren't ideal. And I also had very young children at home. And I was often just exhausted. and I could buy kits, but I really didn't have a lot of time to work on them. And then when I did have time to work on them, I was usually just exhausted, just too tired to really focus. So rather than working a project through to the end, since like I was always so tired, I couldn't focus hard on anything. I would never get to that detail step, but I would keep base coating models. And what ended up happening is I ended up with like 4,000 points of tau with the base coats done. I can always jump into the tau. I can always pull out a squad of tau. Most of my tau are we could call half done right now. I love my tau. I could bring three more or six more crisis suits. I could bring 2 Riptides, a Storm Surge. I have 60 Fire Warriors all day, 10 are on the table now. I got 50 more in the closet. I have like 40 some Pathfinders. Um, I have 3 Hammerheads. I have a Skyray. I have the Piranha you see in front of you. Tau can always come out, and I really like the Tau too. They're a little hard to paint. My yellow is not the easiest scheme, but when it's done, I think my Tau are the best looking army I have. That red and yellow together. But the scheme is a bitch. It's red, yellow, black, and white. I mean, it's I came up with that scheme before I'd ever painted anything, and you can tell. But currently, my Tau list is more Kroot than Tau, more Vespa than Tau. But also, man, the LVO show that happened just a couple days ago that had the Kroot, all the new Kroot models with the Kroot Rampagers and the new Kroot Carnivores and whatnot. Plus, I have the Farstalker here, and I have so much Kroot in the house already. I think what's about to happen in my life is I think that my Tau and my Kroot are about to split into 2 separate armies. And what's messed up about that is, God, I don't need another army. But I do like the 2 very distinct feels of either one. And I play my Kroot sometimes and they never win anything. But I think having a dedicated force of Kroot and a dedicated force of Tau, and they of course can ally as much as they want, but as much as I love the Tau, I really think I love the Kroot more. And those new models from the LVO show, I freaked out when I saw that. Oh my God. And I freaked out for days afterwards. I sent the video around to people who never watched it. I'm like, did you see it? And people are like, what are you talking about, man? But I was just a freak about it. Just an absolute freak about it. And I got to go down to my friendly local and say, please, please, please save me a box. Because you know how Games Workshop sells out of everything and then they short supply their stores. So like the store orders 20 and they get like 4. And it's going to break my heart if I don't get a copy of that box. Not that I need to buy more plastic. I have so much plastic in the house. But come on, man. Kroot. Kroot. Super into Kroot. Finally, the last army I can call my army. Actually, hold on. I got to get somebody. I had to grab Captain Wallenberg. He needed to join the conversation. Captain Wallenberg's like my guy. And he's my rogue trader. And he's the model I want to be playing games with. I love 40K as a sci-fi horror setting. 40K should be scary. You should be terrified for your life in 40K. And if you're playing, if your faction is orcs, even if you're fighting demons, you're an orc. It's not scary. And if you're playing Space Marines and you're fighting demons or you're fighting orcs, you're not scared. You're a Space Marine. You are the scary thing. 40K gets scary when there are humans on the field. I love the Guard, and it's amazing I don't have a Guard army, but I love the Guard because they're just men. And there's a bloodthirster out there, and there's the keeper of secrets, and there's it's the shadow of chaos reigns across the land, and you're just a dude with a las gun, and I love that part of 40K. I love that scary horror movie aspect of it, and I very much want to play with humans, and so I have my Inquisition, and they're very human, and I like them very much, but also they are not human the way I think of humans, because that's the Inquisition, man. That's the fash. They're the Nazis. They're the scary guys. They'll stuff a bag over your head, throw you in the van, go torture you to death. Like they're not. Like, there's no good guys in 40K. And Wallenberg up here, I don't know if you're calling him a good guy or not, but he ain't the Fash. He's not the Inquisition. And so, as much as I love the Inquisition, Wallenberg's got to be his own thing because he's not the Inquisition. He's a rogue trader, and he's the beginning of like my own space opera where, I love Star Trek, of course. I loved Firefly when I was a kid. I loved Star Wars. I know it's turned to poop, but when I was a kid, there's nothing in the world I wanted to be more than Han Solo. I want a spaceship. I want a cool jacket. I want a cool pistol. And I want to, and is there anything cooler than spaceships and swashbucklers? And anyway, 40K is not really filling that role for me now because, of course, they only have rules for the models. And it's so, don't get me started. I could talk. I went through my bits box just yesterday and I have all these bits that I have nothing to do with because there's no rules of imagination for me to want to. And it breaks my heart. But anyway, I can still field the captain. And he uses what is the name of the rogue trader with the bottle opener leg? She's like Neum Shari. I don't remember her name. But I use her rules. They're not great rules. Actually, they're trash rules. But there are rules I can use for him. And then I have this box of Navy Breachers. And this box is dope. I'm into this kit. Each model has 2 builds, of course, and I'm super into it because they're Wellenberg's crew and they're the Navy, and that's appropriate. And I can paint them to be cleaner, and they're not the Inquisition. They're not the Fash. They're humans you can love, and since you can love them, you can be afraid for them when they're fighting demons of Nurgle, and then we have that horror movie vibe to come back with it. So I would like to get Wallenberg's crew up to at least 500 points. Now, how are we going to do that, right? Because 500 points, when he's so limited, that's not easy to do. But I ended up getting this. So in the Combat Patrol here, we have 2 more squads of Breachers. So that's 30 Breachers all day. We have that cool Voidsman at Arms crew. We have another Eversor Assassin. Now, what I think's happening there is I got to paint that assassin, give him to the Inquisition, and then take Agent Jones from the Inquisition and move him over to Wallenberg's crew because that's just more model appropriate. He's new and he fits with all the new assassins, and Jones is old and he'll fit with my Scooby-Doo nonsense over here. I love the Rogue Trader crew. I'm not exactly sold on this model. It's the veil that I'm not into. The hat and the outfit and the pose are all great. But that veil, I'm not into it. I'm not. Not to mention, it's 40K. You never have a chance to have a pretty girl on the table, right? I mean, here's a pretty girl, right? But 40K is all monsters and soldiers and give me somebody who's not hiding behind a veil, right? Now, the problem with the Voidsman squad is they come with 5 of them plus the dog. But if you attach the dog, all of a sudden you pay for 10 Voidsmen. And so I have to get more Voidsmen to round it out. But then I saw at the LVO show, they're releasing Solar Auxilia in plastic. And that kit blew my mind. And I love the idea of taking that kit and turning them into Voidsmen at Arms and maybe having a couple more squads of them. And if I bought that box that was coming out, I would give the tanks to the Inquisition too. I don't know what to do about this thing in vehicles. Actually, I totally know what I want to do. Is I want to find a friend with a 3D printer. I don't have any 3D printing friends, but I want some Arvis lighters. And I'm not buying an Arvis lighter from Games Workshop. I'm not, because those prices are absurd. But I would totally have one 3D, 3 of them 3D printed, and then put all the Breachers and the Arvis lighters and the captains in one. Where'd the captain go? Here's the captain, and they're all in Arvis lighters. And then if I got all of this painted up, plus the Arvis lighters, that's going to take me up to like 800 points. And then not to mention, still has rules, and rules they're not terrible. And then the Exile, he can be a Vindicare Assassin. Now the Carno here, he still has rules, but his rules are really kind of trash. I don't know what I'm doing with him, but I know that he's got to be on the crew. You know, they got to roll together because he's part of the crew. And then here's Jones, and we will port Jones over from the Inquisition when the Inquisition gets their new Eversor assassin. Lars the Space Monkey has rolled with this crew forever, but I'm sorry to say, Lars has got to go with the Inquisition. He belongs there. And then this is the rest of the captain's crew, and I don't know how I'm going to get them on the list. Because Pious Born with the Flamer there, she clearly goes with a Sisters of Battle army now. She's officially a preacher, and I'm not starting another army. I'm not buying Sisters. I'm not. Even though the Novelite kit, like the really nun looking Sisters, that kit's actually hot. And but oh my god, I'm not doing it. So I don't know how to get her on the list. And then the Star Fox, he could go with a squad of Voidsmen at Arms if I get more if I get the Solar Auxilia, he can be their Canid. And then I have the Doctor painted already, and she can go with the Rogue Trader squad. And is that making Hayden over here a Rogue Trader? And then I'll have like 2 minor Rogue Traders with the major Rogue Trader. And then if I have a second Doctor, she's got to look different. I can't have 2 identical Doctors, so I have to cut her arms off, and I don't know. Anyway, now I'm going on and on. But see, this one is where my heart is at. But it's the silliest one. It's the absolute silliest one because I gotta find rules wherever I can find them, and it's not such an official Games Workshop army. And this is why I should be playing War Surge, or do they still make the Games Workshop 40K RPG? Is that still a thing? I'm not really an RPG guy, but just because RPGs are too much work. But this is the captain and his crew, and now he has men. He has the Breacher squad and some Voidsmen, and this is really kind of what I want to be working on. So anyway, oh wait, there's one more thing I haven't mentioned either. One more thing I probably should have brought up at the top. Terrain. I have tons of terrain to work on too. I have the old school Witch Fate Tor, the 4-story tower from Warhammer Fantasy. It's I have the whole thing. It hasn't been started yet. It's ready to go. I really want to build my Zone Mortalis board. I have my designs finished. I have money put aside for it. I just need to get some time. Like I need to take, some time to myself and do the project. So aside from all of the armies I have going on, I have terrain projects to do as well. So anyway, that is my hobby update. That is Star Crunch's hobby docket for maybe the rest of my life. I got plastic coming out of my ears. The phone has been recording for 40 minutes. Oh my God! And so I got to stop going on and on. Actually, all this is a microphone test, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my 40-minute microphone test. The video won't be 40 minutes. I got to cut some stuff out, but I hope you liked my really long microphone check. I hope you liked seeing my hobby future. I think I'm going to finish the containers and canisters that I'm working on now. And then I think I'm going breachers. I think it's time to build and paint 30 Navy breachers in one batch. Yeah, darn right. Anyway, if you watched, thank you for watching. Everybody have a nice day.